Now, freight forwarding agents in the country have warned that they will resist the payment of demurrage and storage charges accumulated at the seaports because of the coronavirus lockdown in the country. The agents say they would not accept blame for the taking deliveries of cargoes when banks and shipping companies are not functioning in full scale. We'll bring you this report further as we move on in the story. Let's move on to our focus today. The Securities and Exchange Commission is promoting the trading of agricultural produce and solid minerals on the capital market as part of efforts to bolster the federal government's action in diversifying the economy. According to the capital market regulator, a structured market for commodities will provide a fairer playing field for local markets while providing the required infrastructure for the international market to be exposed to Nigerian commodities. Currently, there is a slowdown in stocks and commodities trading due to the ongoing lockdown across the country to curb the spread of the coronavirus. I have the head office of the Chief Economist, Securities and Exchange Commission, Mr. Okechukwu Omeano. He joins me live from our Abuja studios to talk about this. Thank you very much, Mr. Okechukwu. Despite the COVID-19 lockdown, you're able to make it to our studio. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, let's start this way. Let's look at the lockdown and how it has affected the capital market. It's a global issue. It's not looking very good, if you would agree with me.
Yeah, it's not looking very good, but we have put measures in place to ensure our market hasn't shut down. Presently, trading is going on the various exchanges that make up our market. The Nigerian Stock Exchange is continuing with trading. The FMDQ, all the exchanges are actually continuing, and everything is going well.
And there's something about confidence in our market. Everybody talks about bringing back confidence to the Nigerian market. How well are we able to do that at this time?
Okay, there's a gap in confidence, let me say, for every market, not just ours. I'm sure if you've been looking at the foreign markets, the US, Europe, and Asian markets. They've had many ups and downs during this period. I would even say that in the past 2 weeks, our market has been more resilient than most. So talking about confidence in this period of COVID, we haven't done badly. Our trading has continued. But talking about confidence over time, the SEC has started to do a lot, or has been doing a lot to ensure we have a return to a robust market confidence. We lost some confidence in 2008, 2007 when there was a crisis. We had a lot of the retail part of the market exit the market, but that was because we did not have a lot of things in place. Now we have many measures we have put in place to improve market confidence. One of them is the e-dividend system we have put in place, where investors get their dividends directly. The dividends don't have to be routed through the stockbrokers any longer. We also have other things that we have put in place. We have continued to educate the market about how to approach the market. We have continued to ensure that market conduct has improved. We are working to deepen the market. We are doing all kinds of things to ensure that there's improved confidence. So we are optimistic that confidence in the market will continue to improve.
I'd like to talk about your conference lately, where we focused on the commodities market. A lot was discussed at that gathering in Abuja. Now, tell us, what's the trust? What do you really intend to achieve focusing on the commodities exchange at this time?
Okay, thank you for that question. Nigeria is an economy that does a lot of agriculture. We also have solid minerals, and it's a shame that we don't have a robust commodities market. And that's what the Securities and Exchange Commission saw and decided to build a commodities ecosystem. You know, the market, the players, the rules, everything around ensuring that we have a vibrant commodities market in Nigeria. So the commodities market will cover the agricultural products that we have. It will also cover the solid minerals, even oil. It's a shame that we have these commodities and they are not traded in our market. So what that conference did was to bring all the stakeholders together so that we discuss the way forward. Before that conference, last year, the Commission set up a committee that looked at the roadmap towards building this ecosystem I'm talking about. And that committee came up with a very good report, very comprehensive, that talked about everything we need to do to ensure that we have a commodities market that is working. And that conference was just one of the things that we're supposed to do. We have started implementing all the other things. Before now, commodities were traded in our market, most of them spots, traded spots. We had, or we still have, 3 exchanges trading in our market. But what we want to do is to ensure that every aspect of the market is covered, such that we can grow these commodities here, we can mine these commodities here and sell them here and have a market that benefits us and our people. For instance, for the agricultural sector, one of the problems they have is the issue around price determination. Okay, so they are not able to know what the prices of their products will be by harvest time. But when you have a market, you have a futures market, you're able to sort of gauge what the prices will be, and it will help the farmers' cropping decisions. So these are things that we want to put in place. We also think that it backs up federal government's moves towards diversifying the economy. The government has invested a lot, and we think that this market will complement that effort by government, and at the end of the day, we'll all be better for it.
Clearly, I see that. I was looking that way because I see this as kind of a way of trying to let us shift away from crude, which at the moment we don't know where it is dipping down to. Some say we might even get to as low as $10 per barrel as we keep going. Now, so what are the takeouts from that conference? You know, we talk a lot in this country, but many are saying, let's start to walk the talk. I was impressed with the quality of guests I saw at that your gathering. What are the takeouts? What are our expectations as we move on? Short term, long term.
Okay, so first, I'm happy that we had that conference. There were areas we weren't looking at that people brought up. So one of the takeouts is we have been able to involve all the right stakeholders. So we now know what the different players in the commodities market would like and what they would want for things to work. So that's the first thing. We know who to talk to. We know what the stakes are. We know what factors to put in place. So like I told you, we have itemized these things. First, we have to have the enabling laws. We have to have the rules and regulations for the market to function. We have to get everyone on board. When I say everyone, the solid mineral side, I mean the ministry and all the people there. We have to get the central bank involved, all the players. Everyone has to be involved, and we have itemized what we need to do to cover every sector. So what that conference did was to expose things that we did not even think about, things we did not even look at before. So right now we have the entire set of actions we need to take to ensure that we build the market of our dreams. So as time goes on, you're going to be seeing a lot of things happening. The COVID lockdown has slowed us down a bit, but we're not worried. We are still working behind the scenes. As you may know, the Securities and Exchange Commission continues to work. We're working from our homes. So when the lockdown is over, we are going to hit the ground running. So all the exchanges will be involved, all the entire market will be involved. So as we speak, we are setting up the rules and regulations. We are putting things in place to ensure that we have the enabling laws. We are speaking to the stakeholders and doing everything we need to do to ensure that we build the market we want to build.
Sounds very interesting. Now, identity management in the capital market is a major issue. Now, the Commission has developed a standardized investors' data and consent form to be adopted by all CMOs in collecting and updating investors' data. To what extent has this helped deal with issues of identity management?
Okay, so identity management, yes, has been a problem in not just in the capital market, in many sectors of our economy. But we are handling that. That's why we came up with that form. That form has been exposed. If you go to our website right now, you will see the form. We have asked the capital market operators and other stakeholders to give us their comments on that form. So what it is that we want to be able to get as much information as we need to from investors and be able to use the information in the right way and protect that information also. So we don't want to overreach, and we don't also want to get less than what we need. We need to be able to identify our investors. We need to be able to know who is putting money in our market and who is not, because that helps us even to take care of money laundering and other vices that we don't want in our market. So that form is out there. We encourage all stakeholders to look at it and make comments. That's the form that capital market operators will now use to get information from investors. And that information will be stored in databases, protected, of course, under the law, and will be used to ensure that we have unique identifiers for investors. Let me give you an example of what happens when there's no good identity management in the market. Some years ago, during the before the crisis in 2007, thereabout, a lot of the IPOs that were done, people used multiple identities to buy stocks. So what has happened now is that we found it difficult to reconcile ownership of these stocks. That's why we have a window open right now for people who have who bought stocks with multiple identities to regularize them, to go to their stockbrokers, identify themselves, and regularize them. This is the last time we will allow that window, because it's even illegal to buy stocks with fake names. So, but we are allowing it. We are allowing the market to regularize it, and this identity management system will help us to ensure that such things do not happen in future.
Okay, now let's look at the provision of additional guidance to the capital markets which are in place, especially in regards to the coronavirus pandemic that you said, working from home. Companies and Allied Matters Act, the Investments and Securities Act, the SEC rules and regulations, relevant government and health circulars and guidelines have been issued in this regard, but cannot be limited to all of this. How well are we doing with all of this?
We are very happy with the way the capital market is going. We have released about 3 circulars concerning our actions during COVID. One of them was to tell the capital market operators and the people who we regulate to give us reports on their business continuity plans and their processes. And as you can well see, the market is going on. Everybody has activated their business continuity plans, the stock exchanges, all the exchanges, and then the clearing house, and even the brokers and other capital market operators. All of them are operating with their business continuity plans. What we have also done is that we have asked the public companies to make sure they continue to send out information. That's their responsibility, to make sure that investors are informed. So we have said that they should give out information on how COVID would affect them, if possible make forecasts and outlook to let investors know how the pandemic will affect their operations and their profitability and things like that. So what we are doing is, and on our part, we have also put up email addresses that people can use to submit returns, to submit applications, and things like all these are on our website. So what we have done is to have a semblance, not just even a semblance, but to continue to work, to ensure the capital market continues to move while we are on lockdown. So we have advised everyone under our purview. We have also advised our investors on how to continue to invest. But let me just mention an ugly trend we are seeing during this lockdown, this era of the pandemic. We are seeing a lot of Ponzi schemes and unscrupulous schemes coming up and taking advantage of people. So we have also sent out a warning. In fact, we listed a few of these schemes. We are warning the general public. The avenues, the correct avenues for investment remain. If you go to the SEC website, sec.gov.ng, you will see a list of the capital market operators that are licensed, that are registered to operate. Those are the people you should invest through. Do not put your money in schemes that promise you wonderful returns at the risk of your capital. So that's a trend that we are seeing that is on the rise. People are taking advantage of I know investors who don't know. So we don't want that to continue.
I can imagine at this time where everybody wants money from all angles. We need to be very, very careful. Before I let you go, let's look at activities of unlawful and unlicensed market operators and promoters of other fraudulent schemes. Like you've mentioned, one of the Ponzi schemes, the remaining threats. What other measures are being taken to check all of these excesses?
Okay, so apart from the public warnings we have been issuing, we are taking other measures. We have, of course, we depend on people to give us information, and we thank the public. We have been getting a lot of information about these schemes and unscrupulous people. So what we are doing is we're after them, closing them, and we are bringing the promoters to book. So we have many of them now that we have closed. But I must tell you that as soon as we close one, another one pops up somewhere. So we invite the public to continue to give us information about these schemes, and we'll continue to go after them and close them, and we will continue to prosecute the promoters. So wherever you are, if you are promoting such schemes, know that the SEC will come after you, and we are not going to rest until these schemes stop. But then we still enjoin the general public and investors to invest their money through the right channels. They should not patronize these people who are just there to fleece them of their hard-earned money.
I must thank you for your time, Head of the Office of the Chief Economist of Securities and Exchange Commission, Okechukwu Omeano. Thank you for spending your time